Hey everybody, and by everybody, just the two of us.
It's us.
Just us.
We're here.
We're here. Just
We're
us.
in the cosmos with some cosmos. Well, not really cosmos, but just metaphorically speaking, a cosmos. I suppose. Anyway, hi. Cool.
Hey, we actually do have somebody.
Were we just gonna small talk until somebody showed up?
Yeah, now we got more people.
Hey, we are here. It feels weird since we skipped a week. We took a week off.
Yeah.
So it feels weird. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing.
And Jack's here.
I don't know how this works anymore.
Well, now that we have everybody.
That's true.
I mean, Ron might pop in, but I mean, basically, we have everybody.
We have everybody, but first, I would just like to highlight that I am using my brand new fancy drinking cup, so that when I knock it over, I won't spill stuff.
Yeah, but you do have your other glass too.
So thanks, Jack, for suggesting it to my mom, who got it for me.
How does it work?
It actually works. You gotta just suck on it a little bit.
Suck on it, yeah.
It actually works. It's fun. It's I feel like it's a weird fetish thing though. So.
Katie got one too.
You got one too, Katie? Because we're Davisons. We spill stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Okay, in March we should bring ours to the house.
Oh, we have to because we're gonna end up doing a podcast from there.
We can all have it. Oh, there we go.
We're gonna do a podcast from there. At least I think we are. I think
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because we're there for 2 weeks.
Maybe we should force Brandon to do one by himself.
Oh, but okay, well then that won't happen. Yeah. So,
all right, we don't need to count it out now.
Yeah, no, I think it's in the middle while we're there.
Yes, music king.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, let's get this. Let's get the show started. Let's get it rolling. Do you want the countdown? No countdown. No. You ready? Set.
It just makes me laugh.
Okay. All right.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. As always, I'm Mike.
I'm Liz.
And that's all.
It's just us today. Brandon is on assignment yet again.
And where it's really cold though.
Oh, he's gonna die.
I mean, there are negative numbers in there.
I don't know if he's gonna make it back. It's I imagine him as the scene of Jack Nicholson in The Shining where he's frozen to death in the maze, the hedge maze.
Yeah.
That's what Brandon's gonna look like.
Yes. Yep. All right. Well, anyway. Today's episode: space viruses.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about all the science fiction out there, and there's tons of alien encounters, right? We might have been watching maybe a Drunk History where this came to me.
I can't remember.
But I'm thinking about that no science fiction really addresses the fact that when we come in contact with another species from a different world and planet, well, that species is going to be host to so many different viruses, and and then our viruses, and then our bacteria. Because just think about when white people met anybody of color, or the people of color ended up dying.
Well, we'll get into that.
In various ways, but some of that from their immune systems, weren't ready to encounter these jerks from abroad. So what's going to happen when our immune systems...
Jerks from abroad? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
To put
All right,
it lightly.
we'll get into that.
Yes, but I know. I'm setting the stage.
Oh, yeah, you said it beautifully. But before we get into all of that, the stage has been set. Couple of drinking rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. I didn't do social media. You threw me.
Or our drink names or anything.
Yeah, all right. What are you drinking?
Clearly, we're a little rusty this episode.
This is what happens when you take a week off.
Yeah. I am drinking the Space Pox.
Space Pox.
Space Pox are delicious. There's orange juice, cranberry juice, vodka, amaretto.
And yeah, that's good.
And that's good. That's all that's in it. So, Space Pox. I mean, I don't recommend it maybe for everybody because, but I've built up an immune tolerance, so I can handle it. But, other people might die.
I'm thinking that a lot of people that watch our show have built up immunity to it, and they're good with Space Pox.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking the CwC infection, which is straight out of Star Trek, where there were a couple of episodes in Star Trek where the crew got drunk, but then they were able to touch somebody and they would get drunk too.
That's really convenient.
I figured.
You just need like the designated drinker, basically.
That's true.
And then, nobody else has to kill their livers. You just rotate maybe people.
Yeah, the only problem is that when ship engineers get it, they tend to shut off things that you need to survive.
Oh. Well, don't give it to them. I mean, come on.
They're the designated drivers.
That's great. Jack is made a dark chocolate cocoa with 70% cacao, with raspberry and 85% cacao shavings.
Nice.
Cocoa, I don't know, shavings on top. I've missed your fancy drinks, Jack. That's great. Katie's drinking the Black Death, which is coffee, and my mom, classic Earl Grey.
Hot.
Tea. Hot.
Yep.
I love it. Good drinks.
Yeah. When we're back in Oregon, I think your mom needs to say Earl Grey hot.
I had some of her Earl Grey last time we were there.
Yeah, but she needs to say it when she first gets it. Not after she starts drinking it, but when she first gets it.
All right.
So.
There you go. Remember that, Mom.
All right. So be sure to follow us on all the things. Twitter, Drinking Cosmos, and Insta and everything else. Cosmos with Cosmos. Like us, follow us, tell your friends about it. All that kind of good stuff. We have rules. The first one is probably most likely going to happen. Dog barks.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And we are expecting Amazon to come today at some point, so.
So the dogs probably will be barking, and of course, anytime there's a Star Wars reference, we should suspend that because we are going to talk about Star Wars today and Star Trek.
That's true.
So, Lord of the Rings reference.
Only Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings.
Dog barks and Lord of the Rings. All right, so before we actually get started into the little things, let's talk about a big thing.
Oh, big thing.
Yeah, because the last time we were here, it was the James Webb Space Telescope recap.
Yeah, tongue twisters all over the place.
Yes. Here in the past week, it's actually made it to L2. So it's where it's supposed to be. So we thought we'd give just a real quick update. So James Webb got to L2 on January 24th around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So that was 1 o'clock for Jack. It was noon for us, and for 11 o'clock for Oregon. So we got the whole country covered in the times.
Okay.
If you're not in the U.S.,
well,
you got to figure it out from there. But anyway. Wow, going after that. Okay. All right, so, oh man, what are you doing? All right, so the first star it's going to look at is HD 84406.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a G-type star in Ursa Major.
Oh.
Yes, and it's the only purpose for looking at this star is to gather engineering data and to begin aligning the mirrors.
I want to know how they chose the star. Did they have a list of candidates? Were they looking for specific requirements of the star?
Yeah, they took resumes.
Put it on Indeed.
Yeah. It took stellar resumes and
Yeah.
This one seems good.
This guy seems pretty chill.
All right, so in case you're wondering, James Webb is now 907,530.5 miles from Earth.
Oh, it's out there.
It's out there, yeah. Almost a million miles.
It's on its own, just
going at 451.8 miles per hour. Now, in case you're wondering, that is 20,197.3 Skittles per second.
Oh, wow. It's a lot of Skittles.
That it flies fast. It's pretty quick. Or I should say a lot of Skittles. The temperature at James Webb is 55 degrees. So you have the hot side and cold side. 55 degrees in the spacecraft equipment panel, 125 out at the sun shield. And on the cold side, it's minus...
That's the warm side?
That's the warm side. Okay. The cold side, did I call it the cold side?
No.
Yeah, the cold side is minus 348 at the primary mirror. Minus 333 at the instrument radiator. Or, as we are finding out, it's the temperature at Jack's place. So... Because he had a whole conversation with your mom about it.
And we can't ignore this beautiful pun. Starlinked in. Starlinked in for our resumes. Starlinked in.
Starlinked in.
I like it. You know who not appreciate it? Brandon.
No.
He's going to rant right now, but he's not here. So we don't have to deal with that.
He's on assignment. He might be listening, but yeah, nice little pause for. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about shit.
Let's talk about
space viruses.
Space viruses, because we have a lot of viruses and bacteria and stuff here.
Oh god, there's a lot of viruses.
I mean, you still need to if we were gonna travel to Africa or India or something, don't you still have to get shots?
Yeah.
Because there's shit you haven't been exposed to yet, or
you gotta
built up anything or gotten vaccinated for, so you got to get your shots.
Yeah, I know. At least for Africa, you do.
And that's just interacting with other humans on the same planet.
You know what? In all honesty, you got to get your shot just to deal with your neighbor down the street. Got to get your COVID shot.
Yeah,
so, because
you got to get boosted.
Because your neighbor hasn't gotten the shot yet. So, yeah, I mean, they're all over the place here on Earth. You got to deal with them. So what are viruses?
Yeah, small, angry.
Yeah, they are. All right, yeah. So they're small microscopic parasites, right? Smaller than bacteria.
Are they parasites? You know what? Thinking about it, I'm not sure I knew exactly what a virus is, other than it being a virus.
Yeah. Well, in my research, it said they were parasitic.
Cool.
So,
I mean, they behave very parasitic.
You know what? This is where we should have had your mom and my mom as guests for this
because
episode.
They know medical things and biology things.
Yeah, and we could say, hey, well, you guys talk about viruses, and we'll just sit here and drink and watch you.
Yeah.
And listen, and we'll try to learn something.
All right, so these small parasites, but I mean, they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to live their lives. They're just trying to live and grow and evolve like all species on Earth.
That is true.
But they kill us.
They do kill us, or make us very sick. And so basically, they can't thrive or reproduce outside of a host. So when they're just kind of floating around,
that sounds like an alien movie right there. Really, if you think about it. I mean,
yeah, there's so much.
Pregnancy, that alone is already an alien
that
horror
really
movie.
Is a parasite.
I mean, yeah.
They contain both DNA and RNA, but lack the ability to read the DNA and act on it. So they can have that DNA in them, but they don't have anything that actually reads the DNA to create proteins and things like that, which happens in cells.
Okay, like bacteria. We have stuff that's like, okay, I can read this.
Yeah. So they can't read the code. So what they have to do is they gotta infect a cell and have that cell read that code for the virus and reproduce it. I'm sure that somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong.
This is why literacy is important.
Yes, it is.
Education.
And scientific literacy is also important. All right, so I always thought they were called viruses no matter what.
Okay, oh no. Is it a virus-I situation?
No.
Virus-y?
So a virus that is completely assembled and ready for infection.
Which, is it Legos?
Is called a virion.
A virion?
Yeah.
Oh, if I read far enough down in the notes, I would have made my drink in
the virion?
The virion, because that's way cooler than Spacebox.
Well, it's good to know that you read the notes. At least somebody's prepared. Sort of.
Look, I am the, it's like the dollop.
Well, then...
I'm the one that doesn't know what's going on. And it's just flying by the seat of my pants.
It'd be great if we could have them on the show.
Yeah,
But
anyway.
all right, so a virion has an inner nucleic acid core. This is where all the DNA stuff is.
Well, okay, so that's the little DNA pocket layer.
Yeah,
DNA layer.
things. They're right there. And that's surrounded by an outer casing of protein called a capsid.
Okay, like, because it's encapsulating it?
Yeah, sure. And then some even have an additional layer around
A little
it.
buffer, a little extra
Yeah,
shielding.
and that envelope, that third envelope, if these viruses are lucky enough to have it, usually are derived from the cell's membrane, so it's harder for the cell to know that's a foreign object. Sneaky little bastard, dude.
Assholes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
They just put on a disguise.
Yep.
It just,
Sneaky bastards, aren't they? So the capsid actually protects the nucleic core from the host cell's an enzyme that could actually break apart that nucleic acid of the virus. So that capsid performs a very important function, but God, I wish it wasn't there.
Man.
Yeah. So the question is how do these guys infect somebody? How does it happen? Well, they need to have access to the body.
Well, I would think so. That's
Yeah.
generally
So-
important.
So any kind of cuts that you might have on your body, I don't have one that I can point to.
Oh, I got one. I got one today.
Yeah, she's got one. So any cuts on your body,
Uh-huh.
viruses can get into it.
I can feel it. I can feel the infection starting.
Yeah, you can feel it, can you? Insect bites. A lot of
Like mosquitoes and malaria.
a lot of viruses gets transmitted that way. And then also breathing it in does just quite
Yay.
nicely. And so so that's step one. Step two is they then need to attach to a cell inside your body.
I feel like there's a lot of cells to choose from.
Oh, there's a lot.
It's like just ripe
There
for the
are a
taking.
lot of cells,
Like, it'd be
however-
hard to miss.
There are a lot of cells. However, that virus needs a specific receptor on top of a cell to be able to get into the cell. And so not all cells have the same receptors on the membrane.
Oh,
So
okay.
there might be billions and trillions of cells in your body. It doesn't mean
Uh-huh.
that the virus is going to be able to
Okay.
get into every
It's
one
like,
of those.
It's like looking for a triangle in a sea full of square receptors.
Yeah, but they seem to be pretty good at finding those triangles. And this allows them to move into the cell. And once into the cell, it releases its genetic material, and the host cell starts replicating the viruses.
It sounds a lot like
What does it sound like?
cell rape. Microscopic cell rape.
Yeah, it's cell rape and murder is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so the cell starts making all these little viruses all over the place, but all the viruses are still in the cell.
Uh-huh.
So the only way they get out is rupture the cell, and then they go out.
Yeah, my mom says all those people who wear their mask below their nose.
Pointless.
Hey, you're just asking for cell rape. You're asking for it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Maybe we shouldn't use
Okay.
cell rape as
Maybe not.
anymore.
All right, it's over
Anyway.
with now.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So the virus then spreads throughout the body, throughout the host, and eventually spreads to other hosts through such things as sneezing, which I actually did quite a bit today.
Yeah, you
but
were
I
really
did cover
on a
my
roll.
mouth.
Even though you know.
So cover your damn mouth and wear a fucking mask.
Above the nose.
And yeah, wear the mask.
Encapsulating the lower half of your face.
Yeah, we see people basically with chin diapers. It's
Yeah.
basically is what it is all the time with the mask down below, done, not even covering the mouth. It's like,
Yeah.
It's pointless. All right, so how do we discover these things?
Yeah, because they're real tiny.
They are tiny, and the size actually is the problem. And
No.
yeah, that's the problem. All right, so a measles virus.
Okay.
Measles virus?
Measles? A measle. One measle?
One measles.
Can you have one measle?
Well, one virus
What
of
about
the
second
measles is only 220 nanometers, which is about 8 times smaller than an E. coli bacteria. Hepatitis.
I'm sorry. Let me pause for a second. All of these things you're about to say with these numbers and these comparisons mean nothing in my brain.
Right.
Other than it's really small. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, hopefully.
I can't visualize it.
Hopefully if you let me say a few more, then we might get to something that might help you visualize it a little bit.
All right. So you've predicted my mental anguish and will provide a solution.
But I don't know how good I am with it. All right. So hepatitis is 45 nanometers, which is 40 times smaller than an E. coli bacteria. Polio is eradicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's eradicated.
30 nanometers.
Vaccines.
Which is 10,000 times smaller than a grain of salt.
Wait, polio?
Polio, yeah.
Is it 10,000 times smaller than a grain of salt?
We said that really well together.
We did. That was actually really good.
So everybody go get a little grain of salt.
Okay.
Yeah, so the thing is we need light to be able to see something in a microscope, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least a typical microscope.
To see anything, we need light. That's why black holes are such, assholes.
Yeah. So, the wavelength of light, in order to see something in a microscope, the wavelength of light needs to be shorter than the object you're looking at. And so, red light has a wavelength of 700 nanometers, much larger, almost 3 times larger than a measles virus.
So wait,
and red
light is bigger than measles?
Yeah, the wavelength of red light is bigger than a virus.
I didn't realize this was going to happen in my brain when I suggested this topic.
It's bigger than a virus. Blue light is only 450 nanometers, so a little bit smaller, but still not small enough to actually see it. You have to go down much, much smaller. And the first time that we were able to see a virus, 1939, and we had to invent a microscope that doesn't use light, but instead uses electrons.
Oh, an electron microscope.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
That's weird and crazy, and I can't believe we've figured this shit out.
Yeah, I know, right? And so, there's a whole long story that maybe we can get into another time about electron microscopes. But yeah, so
those things are cool and expensive.
Yeah, but
cool.
It's really cool. And so 1939 was the first time that we saw a virus, and it is the virus that was the first thing to actually give the name virus, even though they didn't know what the fuck it was. Yeah, so the story of that starts in the late 19th century.
Oh.
Yeah, so the late 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to go back in time.
All right, story time with Mike George, fancy physics man.
There was a German chemist, I believe he was a German chemist. Yeah, I didn't put it in notes, but he was German. Adolf Mayer.
Definitely German.
Definitely German. Yeah.
Adolf or Adolf?
Let's go Adolf.
Okay.
Let's just do that. Anyway, Mayer was looking into this disease that was affecting tobacco plants, which at the time really important to have because everybody smokes.
Yeah.
And so this disease was called the Mosaic disease of tobacco.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, and it would put these little yellow splotches on the tobacco plants.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And so what he did was he's trying to find what caused it, and he took the tobacco vein juice, which makes me laugh.
Wait, the what?
Tobacco vein juice.
Tobacco vein juice?
Yep.
Cool.
So I guess the tobacco leaves or something, and the plants have these little veins.
The juice from their veins?
The juice from these veins.
All right.
And he looked at it, he couldn't see anything abnormal in the microscope, but when he injected it into healthy plants, they got sick. So he knew that it was caused by the juice, the vein juice.
Juice.
Yeah. And
I think there's a spider over there, but we don't need to worry about it right now. Sorry.
It looked like you had spider eyes.
My spider.
Yeah, and so that's really as far as he got with it. But in 1892, Russian Dmitry Ivanovsky.
Ivanovsky.
Yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
Ivanovsky.
He's dead. He isn't going to care. Quit looking over there.
I can't.
He tried to catch the disease in a filter. In this
okay.
little
Like, I'm
this
gonna
little
net it.
sieve. Yep.
I'm gonna net it.
This little sieve was it was able to catch bacteria.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he didn't find. He filtered it, but didn't find anything that would explain the plants getting sick.
Winter wouldn't do shit, Adam.
Yeah, no, winter doesn't care. So the agent was actually smaller than the bacteria. And
so
then
you need to go smaller.
You need to go smaller. And then Dutch scientist Martinez Biergenik called it a living liquid virus, which is the first time virus was used to describe something.
Wow, I wonder where like the word virus comes from.
Yeah, I don't know.
We will never know.
Yeah. And like I said, it was first seen in a microscope in 1939. So the virus that caused the tobacco issues was the first one that was seen.
The first one that was actually seen. Well, that's a nice full circle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so, so really kind of cool. Now, this wasn't the first time that people were trying to, dealing with viruses, but weren't sure what they were dealing with. We watched The Great, and they talk about, they have like smallpox or something, or some sort of thing. Yeah. And
Space
Catherine the Great was talking about something that the Chinese people were doing.
Oh yeah, basically early forms of inoculation.
Yeah, that actually happened in 1000. In the year 1000, they were doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
In China, so.
And infecting yourself with just a mild variety.
Yeah. Speaking of which
is ballsy. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's a ballsy go-to. Hey guys, I got an idea.
Just bear with me.
But
just
I'm
stick
pretty
with
sure
me.
It's gonna work. How many times did it not work until it started to work, and then we're like, okay, but I think we got.
So really, what we're talking about here are vaccines, right?
Yeah, that's vaccines.
All right, so vaccines contain weakened or inactive antigens that cause your body to create antibodies. You want those antibodies, and when the antibodies are made, memory cells for the antibodies are also created, making it easier for your body to make those antibodies the next time you deal with an infection.
For being antibody, they sure are pro-body.
Well done. That's well done. Modern vaccines, so vaccines had weakened or inactive antigens. Modern vaccines actually have the blueprint for creating the antibodies instead of the antigens themselves.
Oh.
And I think that's what we might have gotten injected with COVID.
Which is the COVID blueprint?
Yeah, I think it was mRNA, I believe is what it is, for those vaccines.
Okay.
And so.
And they were like, and it seemed to go well. I did have a weird side effect with my booster that worried me until I looked it up, and it was a rare side effect with the booster. Was I got a swollen lymph node under my armpit that lasted for like a week.
Yeah, and she constantly was.
I was constantly just
measuring its size.
I just couldn't.
Well, I mean, when things start to expand in your body, it does cause a little bit of a.
But that was it. Whereas you got a little bit of a cold. You didn't feel good for a day.
Those 24 hours after my second shot in the booster was a little dicey.
But that was just our body just getting to know the COVID blueprint a little bit better. It got a little bit more piece of the puzzle than with the previous two, and so it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it didn't cause COVID. So for everybody listening that is not vaccinated and scared to get COVID, which is nobody who listens to us, you're not going to get COVID. You don't get the flu from a flu vaccine.
Yeah.
You don't get polio from a polio vaccine.
God.
You don't get it. That's not. Oh man, I could sleep for 11 hours.
I wish it made me sleep for 11 hours. That sounds great, Jack. Jeez.
As a teacher, it was glorious. Yep. So there are viruses everywhere. We hear about them all the time.
In this day, yes.
We hear about them daily now with COVID, but even before COVID, there's all kinds of Ebola and all this kind of all these other viruses that you hear about.
Yeah.
The flu is a virus.
H1N1.
Yeah, the flu is a virus, and so you hear about them all the time. And so if there are a lot of viruses here, you would think there'd be a lot of viruses out in space. And guess what? Nobody's studying it. There's really only one group of people that are studying it.
Yeah, and is it that article that I
it is. It's called
Astrovirology.
Yeah, virology. The R is missing. But it's Dr. Ken Steadman at Portland State University, which I'm assuming is in Portland.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't do a whole lot of research to say that they're maybe the only ones, but it's not like
it's rare though.
It's really. I didn't know there was a thing called astrovirology. Which of course you think there would be. But there are, and I was reading in the article that it was like 10 to 100 million times, like more like bacteria and like versions of viruses and stuff than there are the rest of the species on Earth.
Yeah.
And that's just on our planet. So when you then think about space and we're looking at exoplanets and we're looking for life out there, well, there could be time, because these things they're not like necessarily evolving to life forms such as us, so there could be just a plethora of bacterium and viruses and all that out there.
Yeah. And so so we've talked about how in the course of all these Cosmos episodes, we've talked about red stars and how red stars are the easiest to make, and asteroids, and they're more asteroids than planets because they're easier to make.
Take less energy to just.
Viruses would be easier to make, in my opinion. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because we take a lot of energy for us.
A lot of cells had to come together.
A lot of shit has had to happen over a long period of time. Where, like a bacterium, it's a very simple organism. It doesn't expend a lot. It doesn't use a lot. So having them multiply is not really making a dent.
And you know what's crazy though is like we look at, like here on Earth, we look at where life exists, and it exists everywhere.
You're crawling with it. We can't see it, but we're crawling with it right now, which I don't like to think too much about.
Well, don't. But think about at the bottom of at the bottom of the ocean where you have those black smokers, those vents.
Yeah, the smokestacks.
Yeah, and so you have all these life forms that live around it.
Because it's producing a lot of energy for them.
Yeah, and bacterium and viruses and things like that are living right there next to these vents. And so if you can find life in this really insane environment not conducive for life as we know it, or want to experience, then there's going to be life out there in space.
Yeah, or like, the water bear. You could have like evil water bears.
True.
Evil killer water bears. Or tardigrades.
Tardigrades, yes. I was like, God, what do they call them? The water bears. But so, you could have viruses and all that living on asteroids and
they don't
comets.
necessarily need like hosts like us to find. It could be they're hosting on other bacteria. Bacteria can make hosts out of each other.
Yeah, and viruses get on them, and So now that we've moved on into space.
Yes, we're in space.
Let's talk about, and the idea that there are viruses out there. There's got to be.
Yeah. Like what kind of crazy fucking version of smallpox do they have over in, I don't know, Centauri, the FB.
Alpha Centauri.
I don't know.
Kepler 453 AB. Let's talk Star Trek.
Okay.
And Star Wars.
I know, because you do love. Let's talk about it. Are you going to start with just First Contact? Because...
let's start with First Contact.
Or would the Vulcans have been like, all right, we're prepared for their viruses, and then made a... how are we shielded from their viruses?
Yeah, all right, so let's talk First Contact.
Okay.
Star Trek First Contact. Zeffie Cochran, hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
He had launched his warp ship and came back, had a big old party.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vulcans come down. Woo! The Vulcans come down.
And they're like, oh, hey.
Hey, how's it going? We're going to open our door and we're going to walk out and we're going to shake hands with you.
That seems like not a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
I mean, we can't even shake hands with each other right now. There needs to be the hazmat suits that are in E.T. They had them in E.T.
Yeah.
I just think of the movie Outbreak, but...
I mean, we could talk E.T. as well.
Like, they should be in these,
Yeah, the problem is like... So, especially since the Vulcans and Earthlings basically have a DNA kind of... I'm not saying we share DNA.
Let's assume they don't, though. Let's assume we don't know the plot point of explaining why everybody looks humanoid by making them share DNA. Because if we share DNA, then that kind of... there might be new stuff that we could get that we're not accustomed to, but because we share the same DNA, it'd be easier to then, like, make a vaccine. Whereas if it's a completely different alien species, it would be a lot harder to figure out a vaccine or something.
I wasn't even going to get into the vaccine. I was just going to say that it's so much easier just to transmit those diseases because we do have that similar starting block of the DNA.
I would think it would be easier if we don't have the same DNA.
Well, okay.
But I don't know.
I mean, the DNA makes is going to be responsible for making the proteins and making the cell membranes and stuff like that. And if your DNA is similar,
I guess it's like there's a bridge there.
Yeah, so our DNA is carbon based. For the Vulcans, it's going to be carbon based because of the episode in Star Trek: The Next Generation, where they spread their DNA across the universe.
I mean, would all carbon based life forms share the same DNA?
You're not. It's similar.
Okay. It's not sharing. It's not like where we share like 0.1% of the same DNA as yeast.
Yeah, it's not
or something like that or whatever.
At this point in the game, it's not like humans have had sex with Vulcans to create.
Okay.
To share that DNA.
You don't know. They've been looking at us for a while. They're like.
Okay, but at that point, in that particular day, the DNA were similar, and so if the Vulcans had diseases, and they get off that ship, if they had diseases,
Volchmedia.
What?
Volchmedia.
Wow, went straight STD on that. All right, so okay, Vulcan flu.
Okay.
We'll do the Vulcan flu. One of them has the Vulcan flu. They open that door and they come and talk to us. They might transmit that Vulcan flu over to us, but we might give it right back to them. Earth flu, COVID.
Flu,
we might
flu.
give them COVID. And so, I was thinking about this, and I would think that if there was a first contact between two species, alien species, there would be probably a quick die-off between the two.
I would think that the ones that are making the first contact, that are the most advanced, like they maybe have clearly thought about this and have already enacted some protective measures on themselves, and maybe some unknown protective measures for us, that we don't see or we don't know about. Like they put some shit in the water, and so we're fine now, but...
Yeah, but the Vulcans didn't even know about us until the Vulcans were just passing through.
Oh, okay.
The Vulcans were passing through.
I'm saying if they did know about us, I guess, and had been like keeping their eye on us and been like, all right.
No, so the Vulcans.
As soon as they.
The Vulcans were passing through the neighborhood.
Well, they were like, oh, heck.
Well,
have they always lived here?
No, they would have actually kept going had Cochran not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like,
thing.
Oh, were they always here? Maybe we should stop by.
Yep. Stop by and say hello.
Yeah.
So they didn't really even do a lot of... Now, they might have gotten back into their ship and gone, all right, scan the fuck out of me. Let me know what I got, what I pick up, and then probably take care of it. But We didn't have such a thing, but we came through okay. We did all right.
With the Vulcans?
Yeah, like, so the Vulcans,
Okay.
they left. They got back, let's say they got back into their ship and
Uh-huh,
scanned themselves and was able to eradicate us giving them COVID. However, we didn't have such technology, and so when the Vulcans left,
I feel like they would have been like, hey, they would be smart enough to know not to, like, kill us all off immediately. Like, maybe they would come out in their big, like, suits, their CDC suits, you know, and then we would be even more terrified because it would be like, alien, it also CDC suits that we also use, and be like, that's a weird coincidence. You have the same hazmat gear, but, you know, maybe they do that and be like, hey, we have shit, we don't want to kill you all off. And that's how they come in peace, by wearing CDC hazmat suits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Brandon?
Oh, God, he's on it.
Yeah, he's watching.
Why doesn't he?
He's watching.
You're on. Okay, if you can respond.
Oh, God.
You can join us.
Essential oils, yes.
What, essential oils don't work?
Maybe an alien. Maybe an alien is just
crystals.
Just exerts, just spews, just oozes essential oils, and then they're fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the crystals too. We'll just, you know what? A first contact. All we need, a little bit of sage. Light it on fire, do a little thing like this. It's fine.
It's fine. It's all good.
It's fine.
You know, there was one sci-fi thing that actually got it right, at least with one half of the story.
Oh.
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, we did look up some like movies that dealt. There's not a lot of movies that deal with viruses. So War of the Worlds. We give them the cold.
We give them the cold.
We give them the common cold. We don't get anything from them.
No, but we give them the common cold.
The common cold, and then they die.
Then they die, and that's how we defeat them.
Yeah.
Our tanks and shit like that are okay in the original the cannons don't work against them, but because that was a technology at the time.
All they need to do is just a little achoo.
Yep.
Just sneeze on them.
Yeah, somebody sneezed on one of them, and then they died of the common cold.
Okay.
Andromeda Strain, though.
Andromeda Strain. What is Andromeda Strain about other than Ethan Hawke is in it? Is Ethan Hawke in it? Or am I thinking Gattaca? I'm thinking
Gattaca. Andromeda Strain was 1971.
Wait. Oh, okay, just kidding.
Yeah, so Michael Crichton of Jurassic Park fame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Clever boy.
I'll take a drink of that. All right, so Michael Crichton, he would actually do the science research, and so the science is usually pretty generally spot on.
Yeah.
And so
like us doing science research.
Huh?
Like us doing science research. I think it's pretty spot on. It's close.
I did research.
I know. Just kidding.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one, but I did research. And so with Andromeda Strain, this satellite or something crashes on Earth and kills everybody. And so they thought that the satellite was there was something from the satellite. The original thought was
an evil water bear hitched a ride and came in.
Yeah, it actually, as it was coming through the atmosphere, had picked up some bad viruses and stuff through the atmosphere, landed, and made people sick. However, you're never on it, Brandon.
Assignment, my ass.
You know what? All right, here's our research. Oh, shit, we got to do a podcast today. Quick. Wikipedia. Let's look at some stuff.
I just enjoy having the kind of
the conversation
and the mental thought about
right. Well, I do think we have to describe stuff. But anyway, so in Andromeda Strain, what had happened was a meteor basically hit the asteroid. The satellite, and knocked it. And the meteor had the viruses, which killed everybody. Yeah.
Wow. No one lived. Who told the tale?
Well, people survived.
Some people did survive.
Some people did survive.
So it didn't kill everybody.
Didn't kill everybody.
But it was a big
But
extinction
it killed
event.
everybody but 2 people in the town. There were 2 people that were in the town that survived it. One of them was on some sort of medication.
Oh, that's good.
And so was able to survive it. And the other one, so he was some older guy.
Uh-huh.
And the second that survived it, I think, was a baby. It was
baby?
hyperventilating or something. I'm not entirely sure, but was able to survive it.
That sounds like a really interesting comedic sitcom.
Yeah, well, it wasn't, but
Just an old man and a baby at the end of the world.
Old man and a baby. But yeah, so that actually, it did pick up a space virus. And we talked about them being on little asteroids and things like that, and so satellite bumps into a meteoroid. Some of those little space viruses transferred over. Collapses, crashes down on us, makes everybody sick, everybody dies. Fun times.
Cool.
Yeah, and
so that's two. What are we on? 2?
They're just a few. They're just only a few movies.
What are they? I wrote down some other ones.
So that's Andromeda. Okay. Right. Well, there we go. All right. So.
Okay, the invasion, which is like the invasion of the body snatchers, I guess, but different. But not. And it involves a fungus-like alien life form, like with the zombie ants. You know, the fungus with the zombie ants. The fungus, gets in them, and then it takes over them, and it controls their brain and makes them fucking move and shit. So it's like that, but with aliens.
Yeah, alien fungi. Yeah,
it's not a virus though, technically.
No, it's not a virus, but
I guess it's
it shows how difficult it is to find alien virus movies, and that's because setting up a movie. What do people want to see? They want to see shooting aliens,
or they want to see us get along with the aliens. And I guess everybody just dying from space pock blankets isn't really, I guess, entertaining theater.
No, not as much so. And so when it comes to aliens, I think Hollywood goes, hey, we have to make. But District 9 was aliens you could see. And so it wasn't. Did
it have anything to do with the viruses? District 9? Wasn't there? There was something though. I don't know. It's been a while.
Right, but you still see the aliens. It's not like Andromeda Strain where you never see the aliens.
Right, because it's just a microscopic virus.
Yeah, virus and stuff like that, and so. But so that's the invasion, which is just a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You have the Last Days on Mars, which is more of a zombie movie, but it's also an infection with spores.
Oh, spores.
Yeah.
Damn spores.
They get you every time. And then the electrical virus, which I don't.
Yeah, I looked up the electrical virus from '99, and it's it's basically like an electrical life form that takes over a ship or whatever, and uses dead humans and technology and whatever to try and give himself a body, basically. But it was an electrical life form and infection. So I don't know, it's weird. My mom asked, good question, are we contaminating space with what we have on us from Earth? I mean, how could we not? But at the same time, we're trying not to. So every spacecraft that we send via satellite, rover, what have you, is built in a clean room, and people are wearing, the full suits covering, pretty much all of their bodies, and they're trying really hard to make sure that when we send this technology out into space, that we are not bringing, all of our microscopic bullshit with us. All of our microscopic baggage with us. And, I mean, I don't know what percentage of, clean the spacecrafts can actually get.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it 100% clean. I don't think you can do
100%, but they're trying to minimize that impact on environments such as Mars or asteroids and
yeah,
and
the last thing you
that.
want to do is land on Mars with a spacecraft and then have that infect the local
environment.
The local environment.
What?
But that's what we do.
What if you're like 90% done with curiosity, and one dude, he just accidentally, like, he had an itch on his nose. He pulled his mask down for like just a second, just to kind of get it, and he sneezes just right on the right on the rover. They got to start over, or can they decontaminate that?
I think it's more than just a mask they're wearing.
No, I'm saying, but just saying.
Yeah.
Someone sneezed on the rover.
Oh, man, we got to start all over again. Yeah. I don't know if Brandon's saying that's exactly what probably happened.
No, I think he's
referring to something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, you would have to start over.
You'd have to start over? They can't just put it in a room and spray it with a bunch of shit and it's like, it's fine.
Well, no, you would spray it. Yeah, you just have to start all over in a cleaning.
Oh, start over meant like rebuild.
No. You don't have to rebuild it.
From scratch.
No, you don't have to rebuild it.
Okay, all right, cool. But I mean, it's impossible because these things, these life forms on us and around us, they're so tiny that it's impossible for us to contain all of them. You can't. You basically, I mean, it's polio that's eradicated, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I mean that takes people getting vaccinated and creating enough herd immunity that virus can no longer mutate and it can no longer feed on anything. It has nothing. It can't spread and eventually dies out so that you don't have it at all.
That's why herd
immunity is so important, and getting vaccinated, if you are healthy enough to get vaccinated, that is what protects those who can't get vaccinated, who are not healthy enough to get vaccinated, who are immunocompromised, and so it's us doing our part, not only to protect ourselves, and so that we have that immunity or that resistance there, so that we don't get sick as to the extent of what could hospitalize us or kill us, but then it's also protecting those of our community that can't and that can't fight for themselves, and we have to be that shield for them, which is why it's so important now during a fucking global pandemic that's been going on for 2 years, which it really shouldn't be in the year 20. We're in the 2020s, people. We almost have flying cars. They're getting there. I mean, we shouldn't have this situation last so long.
No.
And so it's so important that everybody just does their part, listening and trusting their medical professionals and the virologists and the epidemiologists, these professionals, and getting your vaccines and your boosters and wearing your face masks still, even if you are vaccinated and boosted, and just keeping that protection when you're out in public for yourself and for others. I mean, it's your responsibility as a human being on the planet Earth to your other fellow human beings.
Right, and so, like, if you can get vaccinated,
get fucking vaccinated.
And you don't get vaccinated,
you're an asshole.
You're an asshole. You are an asshole, and I'll just say you're an asshole. That's all. But you're an asshole, and
if you're scared, talk to your doctor. Listen to your doctor. Get a second opinion. Listen to your doctor.
Yeah, look, over 60% of this country might be set. I don't know what it is.
You might
anymore.
get a swollen armpit. It's fine. It goes away.
Let's just be optimistic and say 70% of this of the American population has been vaccinated. They aren't dying, and so at this point you should see that it actually is safe. But I know you'll say it's fake news and all that kind of stuff, but go fuck yourself. Yeah, and so get vaccinated. But I know everybody listening to this is vaccinated.
What if we market it? Because it's all about marketing, really, nowadays, to these fucking people, to this planet of weird fucking humans. Anyway, what we marketed as like an alien invasive virus. Then maybe people will be like, oh, because it's aliens, and everybody's scared of aliens. So maybe that'll work, because just, doing your part for your community and protecting each other, that's a no-go.
Yeah, no, I think you have to you're gonna have to frame some argument along the lines of freedom, because it's all about freedom at this point. Whatever this freedom argument means.
Unless you're a woman in Texas.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's the only reason why it's a freedom argument is because
it is hard, Jack. It's hard. It's hard and. Mm-hmm.
If I had just not looked at the
It's
comments.
hard and blue.
Yeah, so it is really hard for them to fuck themselves with their tiny dicks. Yes, I agree. 100,000 trillion %. I don't even remember what I was saying at this point.
I don't know. But we can't handle in this day and age of the future where we can just do something with this and then food shows up at our door. I don't know. Like, in this day and age, we can't handle a virus as a species, then there is no way we're handling aliens as a species. No. And aliens come with clearly a whole host of problems that aren't just, are they mean or not? What resources do they want? Now, you also have to think about, oh shit, what space viruses and bacteria do they have? Because that could be a potential, just wipeout event, just to encounter any sort of alien species.
Right.
Even if it's like, say, like a, I don't know, a meteor that knocked off of Mars or a moon of the solar system that happened to have a little stowaway with it and then hit the Earth and somehow survived because it's like an evil water bear, and then an explorer found it, but they got infected and they don't know, and then they meet up with other dudes and then everybody else starts getting infected and they don't know because it's just a little tag-along virus from fucking Europa.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway.
But you know
Premise of a movie right there.
We're going to talk more about aliens and stuff in the Hangover.
Yes.
I'm like, I got to wrap this up.
I know. I was trying to, but I was really on a roll with my plot line, and it was developing, and I just...
So, we've talked about viruses, and we actually need to study space viruses more, which is
astrovirology. Get into it.
Which is a new thing in the field of astronomy.
I mean, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like new fields of shit. It's like pioneer.
It is pioneer.
Pioneering shit.
So thank you for joining us for our episode on viruses here on Cosmos with Cosmos. Please stick around for the Hangover, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy. If you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you are, whether you are or not, please wear your mask and wear the mask, and that way you can help prevent your fellow neighbors from getting sick with COVID and other diseases.
Yeah, just be a good person.
Be a decent person. Yeah. Don't be a dick. What Wheaton says.
Don't be a fucking dick. Anyway, we'll see you. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Cheers, everybody. Bye.
It did. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to Cosmos with Cosmos.
Did you guys hear that music? Did you hear the music? Did it play the music?
It did. It should have played the music. Our new hangover theme.
That's our hangover theme, courtesy of Ron Proctor.
My head was thinking Swanson, but it's obviously not correct.
Courtesy of Ron Swanson Proctor.
Ron Proctor made it for us.
Yeah, he made it for us.
With his cigar box guitar.
Yeah, and yeah, so we got new theme music, courtesy of Ron.
It's our new hangover theme music.
Yeah, and I think we should play more of it, but that'll be the next one.
Yeah, I'll put it in for the Be Right Back.
Yeah.
Because there's a longer version.
It's very bluesy.
Very bluesy. I know. He's one of those
with a slide guitar.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Anyway, welcome to the Hangover with Cosmos.
Yeah, well, we've been talking viruses today.
Space viruses, because no one thinks about space viruses.
No. And you know, oh man, the whole Star Wars universe would just have to be wiped out. You know, just these aliens showing up, I
mean, maybe there was a period. I don't know, Brandon. What's the lore? Maybe there was a period where there was like a great extinction, and that was due to just viruses. Once people started, or things, species, beings. So I'm just trying to be politically correct, because they're not people. But when beings, had mass, interactions with each other, and so now, they've all have like an immunity.
Yeah, how many people died off in the plague of Europe?
A third of the population.
A third of the population.
Population.
Let's just extrapolate that out to the Star Wars universe. That is a lot.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. So
that's.
Yeah, George Lucas didn't think of that shit, did he?
That has to be probably one of the scariest time periods to have lived in.
Oh, without a doubt.
Where you're in a time period where, you really don't know what the fuck is happening. There's not a lot of education. I mean, it's in the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages where it's not, there aren't, the beginning of science where people are looking into this shit. It really sounds terrifying because they don't know what's going on. And they don't really understand, the mechanisms of how it spreads or anything like that. And
yeah, they're just like,
it basically is like out. Until enough people die off that then the black plague isn't as good, and you just have people that have an immunity already.
But for London, it took a fire. It drove the rats into the sea and everything, killed off the rats. Yeah. And so it took a fire to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like the Black Plague would have disappeared, at least for London.
It would have. It's just.
It would have just kept going.
Just how terrifying, the plague wipeout of Star Wars is part of the reason humans are everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so Star Wars, Star Trek, all of that, they don't take into consideration the viruses. You'll get something like in Star Trek, they'll talk about some sort of Klingon flu or something, but it doesn't seem to, kill just whole populations throughout the entire quadrant of the galaxy.
Yeah.
For Star Trek, the whole galaxy for Star Wars.
So we in the main episode, we kind of talked about and we discussed sort of like DNA or similar, like carbon-based life forms and that sort of thing. But what about like non-carbon-based life forms? Like, would if there was like a silicate-based life form, like would it any viruses that are silicate based, would they even like have an effect on us, or would it be like just immediate death because it's something foreign, like, or would it just be like there's no there's like an inert thing, like putting what we've learned is putting a silk from spiders.
Yeah,
I will.
Okay.
In your body, it's inert. It doesn't cause any kind of immune response at all.
Right.
Yeah. Which leads me to give a spider update. Spider update. The piece of carpet, not a spider. Piece of carpet.
Everybody's fine.
Piece of carpet.
It was, but kudos to Liz for being the show person that she is and sticking it out. Knowing that there was potentially a spider to the left of her that could have caused just massive destruction, chaos and destruction. But the episode came first. Life came second. Episode was first.
See, Adam was thinking about it. I think me and Adam were thinking about it the entire time. It was in the back of my head. I kept looking at it. But anyway, not a spider.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what you were looking at, but now...
Now he sees how I could have been fooled.
No, yes. It does look like a spider.
It does look like a spider.
Just looking at you.
I know, I'm still looking at it, but
anyway. To murder you.
So, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Something about viruses.
Okay, yeah.
This show is off the rails. I mean...
So, what I'm saying is that maybe, like, it would be like an inert effect of, like, another... non-carbon based life form that doesn't, unless it's like maybe like an arsenic based life form, then that would kind of fuck us up probably.
What do they say in Jurassic Park?
Life finds a way.
Yes, that's it. Life finds a way. And so I'm pretty sure that those little space viruses will find a way.
To hurt you?
What? To hurt you, yes.
But you don't know. I mean, maybe there could be some that are...
but you know what? The viruses, they're not... The viruses aren't like, hey, I want to hurt as many cells as I can.
Well, no.
No, they're just trying to replicate.
Yeah, but maybe it's like actually like, by the laws of physics, impossible.
By the laws of physics, is it impossible?
I just make it physics because physics is everything. But by the laws of chemistry or biology, like it just...
Well, I mean, once
the periodic table laws.
Once the cell finds a way to get in, and once the virus finds a way to get in... I'm just saying
the incompatibility of materials.
Okay, once the virus finds a way to get in, it still then has to deal with the fact that its RNA, its DNA is silicone-based and not carbon-based, which... act very similar to each other, by the way, but what?
I said I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about like silicone and carbon act very similar to each other, so much so that it, like with DNA you could probably replace them.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the thing where so when they say silicone,
well, then that just.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like the virus is still going to be able to. This is out of my league because.
What if there's lithium-based life?
Oh no, that ain't gonna work. I mean, no.
You can't have that. What kind of base life can you have?
Oh, well, you have carbon and silicon.
What elemental bases of life could you have?
You know that you can have carbon and silicon, but other than that, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oxygen-based life?
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know how it works. I don't know how it looks. And so you're asking me to give you an answer that I just don't know the answer to.
I don't know either.
But I can tell you that lithium probably is not going to work. I don't know.
Is it too chill?
Makes for a good song though. Makes for a good song. Nirvana had a good song with it.
My mom just asked a question that I don't know what half of it means, but because I can't answer this because I don't even know. I don't know what the question is. When are white cells and lymphocytes attack it? I know what white cells are. I don't know what lymphocytes are. I don't know.
Yeah, but the viruses. But if the viruses are inside of a cell, then I mean, the viruses are inside the cell. They're protected because the white blood cells are looking for a foreign body.
Oh, then they have their shielding. They have
Yes.
their little.
Yeah, but they're already inside the cell, and so the cell is providing that shielding for it because they're in it. But if it has that extra envelope like you're alluding to, then it might be able to. The white blood cells and stuff might ignore it. I don't know.
Okay.
This is why your mom needs to be on this show.
And Jack, I don't know how elements work and how they can make things. So that's why I say things like, "What about lithium-based life?"
Well, yeah, but so I mean, it's all about electrons, right? And so lithium is number 3 on the list.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
Hydrogen, helium, lithium.
Sure.
And so, yeah. Yep. They can attack before it gets there. True. I don't know. I'm not.
Look, this episode is mainly just conjecture and hey, what about this potential threat that no one really seems to think about?
When we came up with the idea for this, it was let's talk about Hollywood. I know physics. I don't know biology.
So basically, in a nutshell, I feel like if we encountered an alien species
hazmat suits.
I'm hoping that they are smart enough and more intelligent to come with the hazmat suits and or at least they've already spiked the water. So we don't die unless they're evil, and then they could spike the water and we all die.
You're assuming.
I'm gonna assume that they're nice because.
Yeah, you're assuming the Vulcans.
I mean, yeah. Why just come all the way out?
Where is Independence Day?
Just for some.
Well, I'm telling you, the Vulcans were passing through.
Maybe it's a good protective measure that we're destroying the planet. Because then the aliens needing resources aren't gonna want this.
All right. Well, the Vulcans were passing through.
Yeah.
And they were just gonna keep going, but Cochrane screwed that up by getting his little ship and.
Yeah, because the Vulcans, they got the first transmission of Hitler, and they're like, no, we don't. Let's just fly by, roll the windows up, guys, lock the doors. Let's just, and then it was like, wait, we may need to address this now.
Which actually does bring up a really good point. So at this point, the Vulcans are passing through. They should be picking up radio stations at this point. And TV.
Oh, yeah. What year was it? What kind of good tunes would they get?
I mean, this is, 100 years in the future? A couple hundred years in the future?
Oh, right. It's in the future. We don't know what tunes they have. Man.
No, it's like, it was after World War III, but I don't remember when World War III... And I've been wanting to watch this. I've been wanting to watch Star Trek First Contact.
This is what we're watching later.
Well, no.
That's how we decide what we're going to watch is when we have podcasts.
It's true, but I do want to watch that United States of America on HBO.
Okay.
But anyway, so that was really weird. But they should have been picking up tunes on the radio at this point. They should have been
radio. Would they be looking at radio signals?
Well, at a minimum, they should have been able to look at the Earth.
They got one CB guy down in the basement of the ship that's like, I'm gonna monitor this FM and the AM. Yeah, or like I was gonna say, is that they could have been looking at the Earth and going, hey, there's a lot of methane in the atmosphere. Oh, a lot of farts. A lot of farts, guys.
Yeah, and that,
But maybe they're only looking for certain signals that would make it like if we're not able to fly fast through space yet, then what's the bother? Not worth interjecting yet. But once we can, leave our house and come say hi to the neighbors, then it's like, okay, we gotta intervene. And they just happen to be right there when it happened, but someone would eventually have been like, oh, hey, we saw you do this, now we gotta make it known that you're not alone. Yeah Alright, so old school radio had a lot more watts of output. Modern radio is much lower. Yeah, but this is all in the future, so we can conjecture all day long. Oh yeah, and there's World War III happened. How did any of us survive? First off, well, we survived World War I and II. mass radiation sickness and poisoning.
Oh, that is true.
There's a difference between World War II and World War III by an atomic level.
Yeah. Well, World War III might be happening sooner than we think.
Oh God, it's not. It's not.
Just Russia alone. Russia and Ukraine.
COVID's World War III.
That's just World War I.
It's just us against each other with the help of a virus that's just along for the ride.
There was a map. I was watching something, and there was a map that was just talking about, France is aligned with the Czech Republic, and how all these Western Europe countries are aligning with Eastern European countries in case Russia invades Ukraine. And I was just like, didn't we do that 100 years ago?
No, that's not.
We did that 100 years ago.
That's not good.
It's called World War One.
Oh boy.
And so we're just repeating the late 19
Well, let's hope everyone remembers that nukes are involved this time and maybe doesn't get a little bit too jumpy on the button.
Yeah. I'm almost scared to look at CNN tomorrow. Because I'll log in, I'll turn on the computer, and I'll just look at the headlines on CNN. I'm just scared to look at them.
So basically, if the space viruses don't get us, our nukes will? Is that?
The nukes are going to get us first.
Oh, that's...
I think you had it backwards.
What if there could be, a virus that's not bad, that doesn't kill you, but I don't know, makes you better.
Genetically engineered?
Does something that
but don't
makes
they have
you,
those?
I don't know, you get increased lung capacity. Something that doesn't kill you, but makes you, gives you some benefit.
Yeah, but aren't they doing that with genetic engineering?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, all right, genetic engineering, I think that that's what they're trying to do. So, people that can't produce insulin, because I don't know, I'm just using this as an example, where a virus would take in some DNA that the cells would start producing that.
But could it be natural and not genetically modified to be a good virus?
I think the universe errs on trying to kill you as
Oh,
opposed
no. Universe, stop.
So if the universe is looking at things, it's going to go...
The universe gave us life.
Hey, helping life forms, killing them. We're going to go with killing them. Because that's what the universe is trying to do. So, yeah, but I think genetic engineering people are trying to genetically engineer viruses that can do things like that. Where that could be a benefit. But we have to genetically engineer these things, and they aren't necessarily seen... I mean, what is the... There's no point for the virus to go, hey, my DNA, I'm going to put it in this host form, this host, so that it can produce some protein that it needs. No, what actually this virus is going to want to do is replicate, and that's what's important to it, and not helping this... necessarily helping
so
this
basically
bacterium.
My idea of a helpful virus is based upon just
being an optimist,
a human personality trait.
Yeah.
It can't be I want to be nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because it's not inherently beneficial to
right.
it, and it's at a base level. It's at a base level of must grow,
must replicate.
Must replicate. But it's like a Borg. It's like a Borg. It doesn't care about anything but its own. Well, I mean, okay, the Borg's a community and they're all linked together, and the Borg is one. Blah blah blah. But they're not going oh, I shouldn't put robot pieces in him. He's got a nice family. He doesn't think that way.
No, doesn't think that way at all.
Oh my gosh! Just
what is going
the
on?
This black hole. I mean, he is somewhere where it's really cold, so...
That means that we have completely lost a show,
I mean,
and that they're just entertaining themselves in the chat.
Oh, look, I'm fine with that. I want to be entertained by them in chat as well. Oh,
excuse me, but I do really appreciate your hoping that there is just a nice virus out there. That there is the Linda virus.
I hate humanity, but when it comes to space, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, well,
I want there to be a nice virus. It's like, hey, we'll make them smart.
But haven't we told you that the universe is actively trying to kill you?
Yeah, it really is. It's not a hospitable place at all for any kind. Well, life as we know it. Maybe it's a really great place for some other kind of life. They're like, yes, this is awesome. I can live anywhere. Everywhere is amazing. Meanwhile, we're like, we'll die if we go like too far south. Or don't wear a jacket.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. There are symbiotic relationships, as your mom says, but
yeah, like the sharks with the little sucker fishies.
Yeah, but aren't those symbiotic relationships more like bacterium? I mean, at the smallest level, bacterium based, and not necessarily virus based.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so I guess viruses are just.
Yeah, because remember,
bad bastards.
Remember, the only goal for viruses are to replicate.
Right. Okay. So, and they need to murder and destroy to do that.
Yeah, and so
bacterium, where they can be like,
hey, we're doing our thing.
I just need this. Can I help you out with this so I can get this? And then it's like, all right. And so they're like, here I am.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing about like symbiotic relationships, like mitochondria. Which is the powerhouse of cells.
Yes, I remember that exact phrasing when I was in school.
Yeah, that was what they think, I believe, is that it was originally a different bacterium, a cell, and got into a symbiotic relationship with another cell and is inside of it, and so it's completely different. And by the way, the RNA in mitochondria only comes from your mom. Does not come from your daddy.
Thanks, Mom.
Only comes from your mom. And so they can use that to trace back.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Oh, mitochondria. I do remember my mom taught me about mitochondria. And so I just remember it being a little powerhouse.
That's the extent of the children's book, Katie, is what I did. You draw it.
But that is such a bad children's story.
Is it, though? If you're like 2, that's amazing. Right? Colorful pictures.
The
they
virus.
Can't read a lot of words anyway. They'll get it.
And if you're 2 years old, you just need to hear it in like a happy voice, like our dogs.
Exactly. Like 2-year-olds, they're like happy drunk humans. So it's just reenacting that own little...
I feel like at the end of each
so I'm a 2-year-old when I make
at the end of each one of our episodes.
See, look, Katie says 3-year-olds eat that up.
Yeah, we are just drunk 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds at the end of each one of these podcasts.
Yes, and I think that's the goal. I mean, think about that time. Think about that time of your life. It's amazing.
The goal is to be drunk.
Just no expectations. Just feeling good. You got people that just put food in your mouth. Let you go to sleep. Just you poop yourself. Someone cleans it up. You don't gotta do anything. Just yabba gabba.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to be like 5 years old again, where you just don't have to worry about anything. But and if like you want to do something, like you want to play a video game, and mom and dad say no, that's okay. You're disappointed. You're upset. But in 2 seconds, you're going to be distracted by something else.
A butterfly. Oh.
And so you'll go off. It's just the perfect age, 5 years old. Where life is just...
Anyway, what a weird turn this took in this show. Maybe we have a space virus.
Well,
we don't know what they could look like. They could do anything.
I think the issue is that we're talking about something and we just don't know anything about.
We don't know anything about it. We are not in any way versed in much of biology.
Well,
or
where it really was we should talk about
But-
space viruses in Hollywood. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's put it on the calendar. And we put it on the calendar, now we're stuck with it. But it is a good topic.
It's fun to
It's a good
kind of think
topic.
about and you know, kind of, I don't know, hypothesize about, if that's even what we were doing. But you know, on something that really isn't, you don't really see anybody talking about, or in much of science fiction. You know, every virus and everything like that is very much Earth-based,
Yeah.
Earth-caused, whereas every, like, movie or, you know, media thing involving aliens, it's all very much either,
Well, you
like,
see the
destroy, or it's some sort of interaction that happens, but there's nothing that is necessarily like, oh, each other's viruses killed the other.
Right. And so, yeah, but I mean, I get Hollywood's thing. It's more terrifying to show, you know, a xenomorph or whatever it is.
I mean, if you encounter a xenomorph, then you don't even need to worry about whatever fucking viruses it has, because you're dead. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you need. You just need the xenomorph. It's like anything that was coming with that xenomorph, it doesn't matter. And you know what? That xenomorph, it's fine. It can handle your viruses. It's seen some shit. So, I mean, have you seen it? It can handle it. It's got acid for blood. It'll kill anything you bring to it. So, it's fine.
Right, and so I get why, like, Hollywood wants to show the alien, because fundamentally that is scarier to us.
Yeah.
And
a virus.
But when you have to think about, in the Andromeda Strain is such a
Cerebral?
brain thing.
Cerebral.
That word.
Cerebral.
Cerebral. It is such a cerebral
You did it.
experience. You have to think about it because you can't see it.
Yeah.
And if they
We don't do well with things we can't see or feel immediately.
and if you do see it, it's like an electron microscope.
And it's like, that's not
scan of
real.
it.
Like an
Yeah.
ultrasound. I imagine. It's like, yeah, but is it real?
I know, but like, all right, so old school ultrasounds, they don't look like anything.
Those 3D ones are
But the
creepy.
3D ones are
no,
creepy
those are
as
creepy.
fuck.
I don't like those. Those are creepy.
They're creepy.
Anyway, but Jack did bring up a whole another episode topic, space STIs. Yeah, because somebody's going to try and fuck something. It's just a matter of time and where the holes are. Or creases. I'm just saying. So yeah, that's a whole nother beast of infection.
I love how, yeah. I mean, like in Star Trek, Star Wars, it doesn't matter.
I know Kirk goes to the Stark. Yeah, Kirk is there weekly. Actually, in fact, they
Some
just
daily.
pack him up with just a supply of various antibiotics that he can just pop whenever he needs to. And they just kill anything and everything. Just really high dose antibiotics for him.
Yeah, because what?
Everything that could be possible.
Yeah, Kirk, Playboy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Star Trek, Star Wars, you're gonna have like,
They're
especially
gonna have interspecies relationships.
especially like with I mean, it's more prominent, I think, in Star Trek
Well,
than in
yeah.
Star Wars. I should say I think I've seen it more in Star Trek.
Well, yeah, and that's because they just don't focus that much on that kind of detail and personal life.
I mean, look, the original series, Spock, human mom, Vulcan dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Star Trek is all about, like, the personal lives and getting to know the characters, where Star Trek is more of a broad theme of things.
Every 10 visits, he's
getting a lot free, I would say. He's getting a lot free.
Well, he does show up weekly, if not daily. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say to this.
I'm just saying, those are out there. Wrap it up.
Yeah, you can be safe about it.
Yeah. Safe, universal sex.
And what there was what was it? Star Trek Undiscovered Country, where
Well, that takes a whole new turn of title meaning.
Okay, so Kirk's in the prison, and Kirk and McCoy are put in the prison, and he's fighting this thing. I don't know what the fuck it was, but he's fighting this thing. He kicks it in what he thought was the knees. and like the little alien that Kirk's hanging around with is like, well, not everybody has their gonads between their knees. I mean, between their legs.
Fair, very fair.
It's fair.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. So Kirk kicks him in the knees. He thinks he wins the fight, and it was just because he kicked him in the balls.
Yeah,
basically, is what he did.
He needs to know his species better.
I know, right? You would think he would.
Yeah, that would be covered in a
Picard would have. Picard would have known it.
Starfleet anatomy class.
Yeah, well.
Which has got to be, you got to take 2 years of that minimum.
I'm sure Kirk just doesn't care.
Ooh, Farscape! I love Farscape, Jack. They did an episode where the plant-based alien crew member bloomed, and the pollen caused the crew to go crazy for. I remember that episode. Yes.
It's been 1 billion years since I've seen Farscape.
Yeah, we haven't watched it in a while.
We should watch it.
But, yeah.
But what?
I was just saying as a transition. I was just...
Okay, we'll transition.
Anyway, but, yeah. I don't know.
Well, maybe tonight we can watch
I would think, though, I'm sorry, but if you're on a space crew, like, you gotta know each other's shit that's gonna happen that could affect you. Like, if you know you're gonna go into bloom season, then you should know to, separate yourself from the rest of the ship.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
You should know the effect it's going to have and be like, hey, guys, bloom time's coming, and then,
but
cordon yourself off.
Unless this is the first time that he's had bloom time and with other people.
No, but I'm saying, no, it wouldn't have been. I mean, if you're on a starship, and I mean, even if like, hey, I could be approaching this, what's going to happen. So, it's like, on a spaceship with different species, they got to know all those things.
Yeah.
Or at least the medical doctor on the ship does, and then has to do the work of, like, all right, you got to stay over here for, 6 months. I don't know. However long your bloom season is.
However long it takes to bloom.
Yeah.
You're over there.
There's 24 hours like that corpse plant that smells like death. Which
people go, smell.
Wouldn't you? I mean, it only blooms once 100 years or some ridiculous thing like that.
Yeah, but why go smell?
Why not? How many times are you gonna have the chance to smell death? Probably not a lot. I really just want to smell death once, and that is when I'm doing it. And when you're dying?
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Or causing it.
Yeah, this is. I'm dying now.
I don't know if you could smell your own death.
Well,
because you can't smell once you're dead, and that's when you start smelling.
Well, maybe you start smelling prior. Like, maybe my feet are dying, and I smell those, and I'm like, yeah.
Do you have, gangrene?
I'm dying now.
Have you summited Mount Everest recently?
I'm heading out, and so, cheers, everybody.
All right.
I'll see ya. Well, I won't see ya, actually, but,
anyway.
Cheers. Be nice to each other. Don't be a dick.
Anyway, space viruses, everyone.
Oh yeah, this is so far beyond that.
Wear your mask, get your vaccines, get your boosts.
Definitely.
However many boosts that we may need in the future to be boosted.
Yeah, this is gonna be a yearly thing, I think.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I have no issue with that.
I mean, we get our flu shots, right?
I get a flu shot every year, so yeah, whatever. Add a little,
I'll take the COVID.
Add a little extra immunity to my system.
I know, right?
I mean, I'd rather have my body be stronger against something than weaker. Or.
Yeah, but just remember, to be weaker is freedom. I don't understand it, but it's freedom. Freedom to be weaker. But I am one of these people where I have to show strength.
It's Darwinism. It's evolution. It's just...
Yeah, it's, all these people are going to get Darwin Awards.
I haven't had I don't remember the last time I even had, any kind of...
I can't say I've had a cold since 2020. Yeah, because we don't go interact with people.
Yeah, but
and we wear masks. And we
Yeah.
wear masks. And so, yeah, we've been, like, for us that have been getting vaccines for COVID, yeah, we're so much healthier because we really don't go out in public.
That's true. I mean,
I don't like going out in public
that's
anyway.
just us. Yeah.
Like all this week, the only time I've gone out in public really is I did have to run to the grocery store once, but we've gone for walks and not dealt with people. Mm-hmm. It's so nice. I do love it. I deal with everybody virtually.
But if there were aliens, you'd want to go see some aliens.
I would want to go see aliens, and then I would get sick and die because.
Well, wear your mask.
Wear my mask.
Wear your mask. Wear your
6 feet. 6 feet.
I mean,
6 feet, you alien
we don't
motherfucker.
know how far their vocal spray is.
12 feet. You stay over there in your
ship. It could come into our
ship.
tear ducts. We don't know. But anyway, be
Give
safe.
me a hazmat suit.
Be safe around your aliens, and I think that's been it. I think we've talked enough about viruses and aliens and what could possibly happen.
Yeah, so...
And that we really don't have to worry about space viruses anytime soon.
No, but it really is fun to think about.
Like, what if this is actually just preparation for space viruses?
COVID?
We're not doing well. We're not
No.
acing this test.
No. So, basically, there's some alien that has given us COVID just to see how we would react. And we are failing this test miserably.
I mean, I will tell you, Jack, I won't work at a preschool again because the last time I worked at a preschool, I got strep throat twice and almost got pink eye, but took the antibiotics with my strep throat right when the pink eye was starting, and so it took care of that at the same time, and I would never get sick until then. So,
and she hasn't been sick since.
Children just chock full of germs. They'll get you.
Yeah, yeah. And then all these people who don't get vaccinated,
wash my
but
hands.
sitting there send their kids to school, and then they're surprised that they get COVID.
God.
It's because your kid brought it home to you.
So kids, that's an example of what would happen if you interacted with aliens. Just be around, some 4-year-olds for a week and see what happens to you.
They're adorable, but they're trying to kill you.
God.
They're trying to kill you.
They're like the universe.
4-year-olds are trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah, I'd get so many used tissues. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Cosmos with Cosmos, The Hangover, where we went on a wild ride through viruses, and I don't even know where we went. There were so many different places.
But join us in 2 weeks for a more astronomical topic.
Oh, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. But I do know that we haven't figured it out yet.
Were we going to do space pirates?
Space pirates?
Yeah, wasn't that a thing? Or was that a joke in one of our texts? It might have been a joke.
I was not part of this text.
No, it was... okay, it was part
anyway, of it. I do think that in March, though, that we're going to do like a spring Sky Tonight show.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We're going to do that from Bend, Oregon, actually.
Oh, we're going to do that from Bend? I don't know if I have that technology.
It's in the notes.
Okay.
It was in the notes.
I think we need to reevaluate that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time on Cosmos with Cosmos. Follow us at Drinking Cosmos on Twitter and at Cosmos with Cosmos on everything else, and YouTube and all that. And wash your hands, wear your mask. And be safe out there,
and
everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. We'll see ya. See you around.
Bye.
Bye. Adios. I'm trying to end
Leia, we're coming.
I'm trying.
We're coming, Leia. Don't worry. We'll be there in a second, Leia.
Awesome. Goodbye.
Bye. And Leia,